to rest or to train after a sprain? This is the question we want to ask a qualified professional. If you have followed us, you know that this new series is about getting the information from the right people. So when we have a question, we don't go to the encyclopedia now, we go to the social media. But on social media, let's get to understand who we can ask the question. So today I'm inviting Victoria Roper to answer this question. Shall we rest or shall we train right after a sprain? I'm waiting for... Hello.
Hello.
How are you, my dear?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great. So, same question as last time. What qualifies you to answer this question? To rest or to train after a sprain?
Well, I have clinical experience because I'm a sports physio. And I've, been in the field for, without giving away my age, nearly 15 years now. So I've seen lots of people with various injuries and, given the studies and the ongoing kind of evolution of anatomy and physiology, which I try to stay as up to date as possible with, that's why I feel like I can hopefully shed some light on this for you.
I love what you just said, because for me to be qualified is not just a matter of having a diploma or having done that initial training. It's really about taking that initial training to the next level and being current. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. It's so important because so much of the stuff that, I graduated from university in 2005. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And things have changed. Things that we thought were good, we don't think anymore. And it's valid for any field. It's not just science. It's most of the fields. We just learn new things, discover.
For sure. Yeah.
So, sprain. So we talked last time about what to do at the moment that we get a sprain. And we said that maybe ice is not the solution anymore. So let's just update our habits. Now, a couple of days after the sprain, shall we train or shall we rest? How do I know that I need to rest first?
Now, your body is a smart piece of kit. Your body will let you know. However, there's a big caveat here because I know that most athletes will try and push through pain and push through any signs for that matter. The red flags will be there and they'll just choose to pay no attention to them whatsoever. So the question should be, to what extent should we train? Really, we need to kind of look at what the training involves. Is it getting into the swimming pool, for example, and kicking? So in therapy terms, that's called hydrotherapy. I'm a massive fan of hydrotherapy because it takes the joints through their full range and adds both support and resistance through the water, but doesn't, put so much weight bearing through a joint.
And it's like having a homemade massage.
It's great. It's great.
So I guess the question is, why is that important to be active during recovery? Why is that important to be active?
So during any injury, we go through 3 stages of healing. Now, the inflammation stage, or the stage I mostly spoke around last time we did one of these, is about 4 days, give or take. And it's really important to respect and to essentially rest a little bit during that time with very modified range of motion exercises within your pain threshold. But after that, what we need to do is to start to almost stress, but in a good way, the joint or the tissues so that they then adapt to the demands being put on them to start to stimulate recovery and healing.
Okay, so focus on active recovery through movement.
Yeah,
but then comes the pain issue. So if I'm in pain at the location of the injury, what can I do?
So, of course, you've got to be able to differentiate between what is discomfort and what is actual pain that's telling you this might not be such a great idea right now.
And that's sometimes a tough one because we dancers tend to have a threshold to pain that is quite
yeah. So what I always say to someone is, okay, where is your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? 0 being no pain and 10 being the worst pain that you could ever imagine. And so at least everyone has a scale then, because we can't apply the same amount of pain to different individuals.
Oh, I'd like to share something with you because I found that it was very interesting. I don't remember who it was, so sorry about that for the person who shared that with me. But that person was advising to have a scale that is 1 to 5, because one
Ooh.
to five makes it easier for the other person to figure out where it is. And it's just like 3 is, it's painful, but it's okay. And then 4 and 5 is you're about to die. And I want to share that because I thought that was genius.
I like that. I think it stops indecisive people like myself going too far out
Yeah,
of the
7.5, 8.3.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
absolutely, you could work with any range you want to, as long as 0 is being no pain at all, and whatever your top number is the
Yeah.
number that the worst pain you've ever experienced. I can't take much more type thing. And then the second question I ask them is, how long are you in that level of pain for? Because
Okay.
if you're doing 3 reps of, let's say, an ankle range of motion exercise, and actually the pain goes after 3 reps, then that's actually okay. That's something that I think the movement, the body's liking the movement. But if they say, well, actually the pain is increasing after 3 reps, then that's something that we maybe need to modify or even stop.
So now that we know the range of pain,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of movement can I do? Like, do I have to, for example, unilaterally train the other side of my body if I'm in too much pain? Is that good? Because I know some people are saying, no, you shouldn't do that because then this one side is going to get stronger and the injured side is going to get weaker and weaker. Is there any truth to all of that? Like, what's the advice?
We should always be doing unilateral training. We spend most of our lives on one leg. So we should always be doing some form of unilateral training. So I would say knock yourself out.
Yeah. You're not worried that after recovery, the difference between the two sides will be even more?
No, because you'll go back to being, hopefully, being whatever normal is at some point, and you'll be then utilizing, particularly with dancers, right, where the choreography is often set for you. So again, the body adapts. The body is a smart piece of kit.
Love that. So listen to your body.
As hard as that can sometimes be.
Be active as much as possible. Modify the type of activity to accommodate the level of pain that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then rest.
Yeah. And the caveat to all of this is it very much depends on the injury. So if you've got a broken bone that needs to heal, obviously you're not going to try and stress that, right? Until the
Well,
orthopedic.
this is why the question was a sprain, because I didn't want to go
Yeah.
into severe injuries. Although a
Yeah.
sprain can be severe, but I just wanted to keep it simple. I think the message that I wanted to have you share with everyone is when it is valuable to continue to remain active, because very often dancers, we have a lot of small injuries and we're not always sure when to rest and when to be active, what to do, when to avoid the injured part. So I think it's good to get some insight on what is the current science around that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But guys, rest as well, it's good to rest.
Yeah, recovery is so big and is, I think a lot of athletes and even, lifestyle clients to a lot of extents and purposes, they struggle with the word rest or even recovery
Yeah.
because
And I
they
think
don't.
that's the main difference between the advice to general population, where we have to teach them to be active during
Mm-hmm.
recovery, whereas athletes, sometimes I feel like maybe we should stress on the resting part.
Yeah, because that's actually part of the training.
That is part of the training. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
part of your body's adaptive process, and the adaptation often happens during the rest.
yeah. But my experience with dancers is that they sometimes forget to realize that they can be active while keeping the area injured
Mm-hmm.
and on some parts up and below at rest. So as you said, for example, if you have a problem with your ankle, go more to the swimming pool. You'll be active, but you're not putting that ankle into too much weight bearing that could actually make it worse. So it's about thinking outside of the box, if I can say, and finding other activities that are beneficial to you and your recovery.
Absolutely.
Instead of actually, because what I see a lot is putting that area always on stress, and I'm like, just give it some time. It needs to get better. It's not because you're not using it that you will lose everything you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Your body doesn't forget that fast. And maybe that's a question for another topic.
And I think that's, you know, you raise a great point to almost modify our advice towards a little bit, it's got to be different. Athletes and lifestyle clients, you know, we need to be adapting our language and our knowledge to each group of people.
Yeah, totally. And even athletes, depending on what the field is, sometimes it's not the same culture, the same behaviors.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Victoria, for sharing that.
Thanks for having me.
And I think I'll call you very soon for another question.
Thanks so much. Bye.